Government closed. We are wide open for business, for fun, frivolity, and to discuss it all. My Lord, is it crazy? So the government is closed. We're setting records. We're on our way. I mean, we're not there yet, so don't be too excited. But Mike Johnson's given us hope that we may not see this thing open until after Thanksgiving.
Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah. So this is going to be interesting. What do you say? I mean, realistically, what do you say? This is going to, neither side seems ready to do any kind of movement because none of them seem to think it's their fault. And if you're Trump, you're not really bothered at this moment because it's not affecting you. And one of the things that's going on is they're breaking it down to Republicans, Democrats, Trump. Nobody's really blaming Trump yet. Okay, at some point in time, look, you're the keeper of the stone. Somebody may say it's your fault, but at this time they're not. And the Republicans, they're not too worried because it's not super lopsided. If it got super lopsided, then they'll come to the table and they'll say, "All right, what do we have to do? Let's talk about this." But right now, they're just kind of all mulling around. This is what I said today. Here's government in a nutshell. There's a door. You could push it in or you can pull it out. You could push it in. You could pull it out. You've got two people standing there. They know they need to get through the door, yet they're both arguing on the right way to go through the door. And because of that, nothing is getting done. And then along comes a normal person who just walks through the door, and then they argue about that. Neither of them want to be the one to come to the table.
He reaches down, rubs it in the dirt, and hands it back to me. So, never know. As a Tennessee Vol, it might be the last.
What's that?
It means a lot.
Is that Ken? Can you play some of that? Little Tennessee Vols there?
Sorry, boys. I was looking for some audio. I thought I had it off.
Oh, that's it. Hey, you know what? I'll talk a little Vols baseball. He's gone. That's all you guys need to know.
Yeah, this fella I was listening to, he's all dressed up in orange with some orange sunglasses. And apparently at yesterday's scrimmage, Coach Vitello gave him a foul ball. And he said, you never know when you're not going to see someone ever.
That's true.
And today he learns his coach is headed for the big leagues. Sorry about that, boys.
Sorry about that. You know what, though? They're paying well. Have fun. I have a feeling you're going to miss college baseball. Have fun in San Francisco. Watch out for the poop and download the poop map. That's the little friend, Chad Benson, showing you that right there, because I do got a poop map. So the government shutdown, I'm looking at all the people standing outside, the federal workers standing outside of the food places to get food. Look, it's frustrating because we should get something done. Or the government, come on, get something done. But here's the other thing. When asked, has it affected you yet? A vast majority of Americans have said not yet. That's going to be the other telling sign. Is it until it affects, and it's not, you and I, you're listening to the show, you probably listen to shows where they talk about politics. You probably watch TV, they talk about politics. So it's different. It's the average person that doesn't follow politics at all. Once it starts to affect them, then this thing will really take off. Then something will really start to happen. Until then, it's all about scruggle meals.
But I promise you them children get a meal every night. Whether it's a lonely sandwich, some noodles. Y'all act like y'all don't know how to make scruggle meals.
Y'all like that? Well, scruggle meals are coming. And just in time for the holidays. So this is, I have a feeling that I thought it would be a lot quicker because I thought they would kick the can down till after the first of the year. But they're dead set on making this, see who's going to break first. And when you listen to Mike Johnson, he doesn't sound like he's breaking anytime soon. And, if you're Chuck Schumer, does it matter? I mean, because you just seem useless anyways. I mean, Chuck Schumer, nobody's listening to anything he has to say. Hakeem Jeffries, nobody's listening to anything you have to say. And everybody's only going to, it's like, why are the only person they're talking to is Mike Johnson? Because at the end of the day, Mike Johnson and John Thune of the Thundoggle, they're the ones who are the leaders. They're the ones who could, yay or nay, let's get this done, let's not get this done.
Lawmakers, they are continuing to get their paychecks, but their staffers are not. They missed their first paycheck on Monday, and federal workers are set to miss a paycheck this Friday.
That's their first real check. So, and you see people standing. You got federal workers standing in front of food banks. That is not a good look at any time.
Here in D.C., I spoke to the CEO of Capital Area Food Bank. They are preparing for a surge in demand as you not only have furloughed federal workers who are missing paychecks, you also have thousands of federal workers who have been fired. She says that starting this week, they're setting up additional food distributions specifically to help federal workers and contractors.
And the contractors, one of the things we don't talk about. So if you're furloughed, you're going to get paid whenever it comes back. If you are working for the government and you have to go to work and you're not getting paid, you're going to get paid when it comes back. If you're a contractor, you're just SOL. You're not getting any of that money. That money's not coming back anytime soon. And you're working with the government and you may produce parts for the government. Well, guess what? That place is closed. You still have to try to pay your employees. You may have to start laying some of them off. And that's that domino effect that's taking place right now. Somebody said, Todd hit us up and said, what's that 50 plus 1% poll? The poll that's out there right now for the shutdown blames it more on the Republicans than the Democrats, but by such a tiny margin. It doesn't matter. And there's a lot of unsure. Because nobody's really sure who to believe or what to believe. So do I think it's the Republicans' fault? I think it's both their fault. I think you guys are both here. I think both of you guys have skin in this game. And I think you both should be doing your work and stop acting like petulant children. I'm different than most. Most people are like, nope, it's their team's fault. It's my team. No, I think both of you have a part to play in this. Get it done. Absolutely get it done. Speaking of polls, this one here is important. Right track, wrong track. United States of America. 65% of Americans. So this is Democrats, Republicans, Independents. Throw out Democrats, throw out Republicans, look at Independents. They're the ones who matter the most. 60+% of Independents say America's on the wrong track for the economy, the way the government is functioning, 65% say that. And the way the federal government is dealing with undocumented immigrants, 57% say that. Those things, there's a perfect example of that middle, the middle. No, it's they can vote right, they can vote left. They're the ones who are going to bring either team across the finish line. They're the ones who aren't sold for either of these teams because they feel like both of them are just corporations that are using us and our division to enrich themselves. They're looking at this situation and saying, yeah, I don't think the country's moving in the right direction. I don't. And so how do we get that back? These are few things that you look at. Right track, wrong track, consumer confidence, and then the one that we talked about the last week or so. And Ken, the amount of people that are having their cars, they're in the rears, is huge, especially amongst the people that are already just keeping their head above the poverty line. But here's the other thing. The amount of people who are upper middle class or even upper who are missing their payments now are rising. It's the most that they've had in, I think, since 2008, 2009, which was the Great Recession. Those are things you look at for the economy. Right track, wrong track, that's a good thing. How do you feel? And by the way, it's not just about the economy, but when it comes to the car payment thing and people falling behind, I've talked to a couple of people. First of all, we were all still trying to figure out how you pay $750 a month for a car. That's not an Italian car. I guess I'm just a younger fellow. But these things are the things you look at. And I look at this and I think to myself, we've got rising prices. People are getting frustrated. They're getting angry at the division. And we have two parties that don't want to deal with one another. And they're more interested in the politics and the winning in the political world than they are in what's best for the people. I want to know what's best for us. That's what I care about. Everything else means very little. Absolutely. We move on from there to the robots. They're coming to take you away. Ha ha, hee hee. Why do I say that? Because there was a story in the New York Times that, let's just say, Amazon wasn't thrilled with.
The New York Times, citing leaked documents, reports Amazon expects sales to double by 2033, growth that would normally require 600,000 more workers. But the company is reportedly looking to fill those jobs with robots and automate 75% of its operations. In the near future, Amazon reportedly estimates automation could help it save more than $12 billion and shave about 30 cents off each item it ships.
And you're thinking, well, that sounds awful. Well, they came out and said, hold on a second. Right? You guys wrote that about us. There's no nuance in that. You guys didn't understand that. That was supposed to be a private conversation. Nobody was ever supposed to find out that we're going to eliminate everybody that we possibly can. That can't be a surprise to people. The funny thing is, it was. People were coming after Amazon. What do you think was going to happen? The minute we get a robot to make burgers perfectly, to make French fries perfectly, the minute we get that, do you think that people are going to stick around? Or do you think you're going to get rid of them? You're going to get rid of them. The minute that they can make it so you pull into a place and your oil change is done in 4 minutes by a robot, what do you think's going to happen? Gone. You know why? Robots don't get sick. They don't have problems with their girlfriend or their wife or their husband. They don't want vacation. They don't get pregnant. They don't cause a stink. That's what's going to happen. This shouldn't be a surprise.
They don't ask for raises either.
They don't. They don't ask for raises. But I will tell you, what is going to come is, and I'm waiting for it, the tax. Where's the robot tax? You know that has to come. Because, okay, you may take away people's jobs, but the government, their job is to collect money from you. So they're going to want their money.
Yeah, if they're not going to get it with you as being the pass-through,
yes,
then they'll just go back directly to the company and say, the money we would have gotten from taxing that guy you laid off, we're just going to tax you now.
Exactly. That's coming.
If I worked in a call center, I'd be terrified. If I was someone like a legal assistant, a paralegal, they're not going to be needed for very long. For mundane intellectual labor, AI is just going to replace everybody.
Yeah. And the paralegal thing, because, for years, the white-collar job person, they were always fine. But they weren't going anywhere. They were replacing other things. Now, AI's come along, and it's square at the white-collar worker. And one of the things that if you go to Wall Street, the big thing is if you're going to go to a big investment bank, the minute you get out of school, you're going to spend your first 3 years, right, as an analyst, and you're going to work 100 hours a week, and your life's going to suck. And the goal is at the end of those 3 years, you eventually have a chance to really move up, and you're going to get massive bonuses and opportunity happens, but it sucks. That's going to go away. And when you get out of college and you go work for big law firms, you spend your first 3 years. What's the old saying? When the partners go to bed, that's when you start working. Yeah, that's going to go away because you don't need it. So it's all changing, and it's changing fast. It is. All right, coming up, White Woman Wednesday. We got some more of that. MAGA. Last hour, she put the liberals on blast. Do you think maybe she's got some stuff when it comes to us? A little bit more the conservative, the libertarian, the anybody who's not crazy sect? Maybe. We'll talk about that, among other things, straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Whew, we got those guys. It's about time. 2 of them killed. Blowing them out of the water. Kids, our friend Kylie. Belle, where'd she go to school?
Brown. She went to Brown. Why did she go to Brown? She got a scholarship to White, but she didn't want to go there.
She got a scholarship to Cracker, but she didn't want to go to Cracker. Ladies and gentlemen, The American empire's over.
The single greatest threat to America right now is white supremacy. And we need to stop acting like it's black people or brown people or immigrants. The average empire lasts 250 years, and let's face it, America is an empire. It's a series of states and territories controlled under a single president or authority. Yes, we have checks and balances. Yes, we have our other system. But the point being, America is on the verge of collapse. And it's because it was built on a system that was never meant to sustain it. It was built on forced labor, kidnapping, violence to maintain the social order. If we want to improve what we have and actually preserve the country that we have, we need to literally completely eradicate white supremacy. As an ideology, it is so dangerous, so harmful, and that is where so many hate crimes stem from. Craziest thing is even realizing how many mass shootings and other mass acts of violence stem from white supremacy and hatred. That's why it irritates me how many politicians on the right, and honestly liberal politicians, are like, we need to be tough on crime, we need to be tough on crime. This is an ideology issue. This is an education issue, and it's the result of a system that allows white people to act however they want without consequence. And we need to start treating white supremacy like the real threat that it is.
Do you remember that time that you went outside and you're like, I'm going to do whatever I want with no consequences?
Yeah, and I did what I wanted, and then I got home and my mother whipped my ass.
That's right. You guys don't remember that? One time, Ken came into a radio station when he was younger, and the consequence was the old pastor guy told him he's going to hell. Consequences. He didn't even do anything wrong. I love her. She's great. She went to Brown, you see, which is an Ivy League school. It's the one that we don't really talk a lot about. I think more ladies go there than men. I feel like it's the kind of place that Animal House would be at. Even though that was filmed up in Oregon, in Eugene, I think. But still, guys, come on. White supremacy? This nation was built on kidnappings. I'm like, I think that's Colombia. Don't worry, we're bombing boats there, too. Our pirates. We got pirates everywhere. We're taking them all down. That's the liberal mind right there. Earlier, she hammered the left. Let's give her credit where credit was due. But she's got to keep it going. And this time, it was the right. We paid the price because we are built on, what was it again? White supremacy and kidnapping. So those are two things that happen. White supremacy and kidnapping. So if those things are things that you think that the empire should not be built upon, first of all, you're right. And secondly, empires usually only last about 200 plus years. We're doing pretty good, in the overall scheme of things, we're doing all right. You know why? Because our founding fathers said, let's not go the way of others. Let's figure out how we can get away from the way of others and try to do something different. We'll create a republic and we'll go from there. We'll have states' rights and all these kind of things. And yes, we're going to make it so it is tough to do things. Somebody asked me what I would do about the shutdown. It's simple. If I was the president, I'd tell everybody to get their butts in there, get something sorted out. It's that simple. Get something sorted out. What can you do to get something sorted out now? Because, somebody said, well, besides federal workers, there's a lot of people in line at food banks. That's not a good look either. And we know people are struggling. And by the way, a lot of times you go to food banks, they're not people that are homeless. People going through there have jobs. Some of them have two. Some of them barely can make ends meet with what they have. And they're just going there like it's not something that they're super proud of. But they got to do it. And the fact that we can do it in this country is wonderful. That being said, it's still not a good look in D.C. because understand D.C.'s this weird little, they call it the Beltway. It's its own little media world at times. And the media is looking and going, man, there's a lot of people outside at the food bank that normally wouldn't be. So that isn't a good look. And as we all know, we live at a time where looks and pictures and videos shape a lot of the narratives out there. So very interesting indeed. 3616 just text in about our girl. Said, and I quote, I guarantee you that woman is probably dating a brown or black person.
Mostly out of white savior complex.
Yeah, probably. That's it. Well, she's there to save him. You know what? You want to know why she's not? Because they don't want to hear her crap. They don't want to hear her crap because she probably treats them as if they're a victim. And all they wanted to do was go to dinner and watch a movie. That's why even the brothers aren't going out with her.
She talked through the whole movie telling him why he's being oppressed.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Somebody said, I think she must have failed history, or maybe Brown didn't offer history as a course. No, I think it does. It depends, the history. It depends on what side of history we're looking at. Because remember, they do history different in college, especially nowadays. Coming up, speaking of crazy stuff, this is nuts. I got a couple stories about parents and crazy things that are going on. When did we become this nation? Because we're insane. That's why. We've lost the plot. We'll talk about that straight ahead. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997. Cory Booker's angry. Let's find out what he said. He was on C-SPAN earlier yelling, I never know. This is going to be a surprise to all of us.
When we took the extrajudicial step to blow up speedboats, there has been no oversight into that claimed attack on people that were allegedly smuggling drugs. We are constantly not doing our job, which is not a partisan one. It is to hold this president in check, that no one operates without accountability and without transparency, because power is corrupting. And when you let someone do what they want to do, when they want to do it, without a check or a balance, it is corrupting. And we know.
Well, look at that. He was very.
Sounds like he and Rosario Dawson might be breaking up.
Oh, yeah. Are they still together?
Yeah.
They've been together a while. I'm not a fan of blowing up boats, who I don't know who's on the boats. I don't think that's. But, Chad, those drugs could be coming here. Well, it's 2,200 miles. They're probably going to have to stop on numerous occasions. They're probably going to Trinidad.
No gas stations.
Yeah. You don't think there is? Fill her up. Somebody said earlier, well, they keep sending those boats out. The amount of money that is in drugs, I don't think people realize. So Pablo Escobar used to spend, if I'm correct, so think about rubber bands. How much rubber bands cost? Nothing, right? You can get 100 for nothing. I think he spent $2,000 a week on rubber bands to wrap his money, and he expected to lose $1 million to $2 million a week off of some stuff being stolen, but a lot of it just getting destroyed because of the element and the rats. He said rats would just eat money all the time. Yeah, the money is unlimited. And that was the 90s. But we shouldn't be blowing, we shouldn't be blowing boats up without some, hey, let's find out who they are. Don't you think? I mean, there's no due process. And the drugs were probably not going to make it here for weeks. Now, you know what's going to happen? All those damn sharks are going to be all coked out.
Driving my prices up.
Yeah. There was a movie. What's that movie called? Was it Cocaine Shark?
No, it's Cocaine Bear.
No. There was a Cocaine Shark movie, I think. It was a film, Cocaine Shark. I saw Cocaine Bear. It was hilarious.
Was it?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, cocaine sharks were found off the waters of Brazil. Do you see what's going on here?
We are creating addicted sharks.
New York Times. This is a New York Times headline. Not afraid of sharks? ? Well, now they're on cocaine. You don't want sharks on cocaine? No. But there was a cocaine shark movie. Came out. So that was, and the Cocaine Bear was so funny. I think was it Ray Liotta that died? I think it was his last movie.
That was his last movie.
Yeah, that's how he went out. Cocaine Shark.
At least it was funny.
It was funny. It was really funny. If you've even seen that movie. Not that cocaine's funny. I'm just saying the bear being on cocaine was a little hilarious. Because bears don't normally do cocaine, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, not that you know of.
Not that I know.
You're a teetotaler. You don't hang out at those places.
No, I don't. I don't hang out where bears get a little yayo.
I love the lady who played the ranger in that, man. She's a great character actress. I just can never remember her name.
Oh, my God. Cocaine Bear. That was...
But she had the hots for Jesse Tyler Ferguson,
Was it
as a ranger?
It was Margot Martindale.
Yes.
She's great. She is absolutely
I love her.
Awesome. But Carrie Russell's in. If you guys have never seen it, it is so
Carrie Russell.
funny. And by the way, the killings in the movie or brutal because he's on cocaine.
Yes. Well, it's a mama bear.
Yeah. Well, she's all hopped up because she can't get any. It was actually based on a vent of a 175-pound bear, the black bear that died after ingesting a duffel bag full of cocaine in 85.
And I think it happened in Tennessee.
Yes, it did. The bear is currently in Lexington, Kentucky, with the nickname Cocaine Bear. It's at the Kentucky Fun Mall.
That poor bear. That poor thing, man. It didn't know what was going on.
And if you see the picture of it, it is standing on like this, looks like a TV stand because it's a black bear. It's not a grizzly bear, but it's got a hat on with a big K on it. For cocaine, because that's how we spell it in Kentucky. All right, guys, something real. If you're a parent, I want you guys to listen to this. If you're going to go to the beach, you're going to freak out about this because you're like, oh, I would never allow this. I think what they're doing to this couple's awful. I do.
This woman is holding a 6-month-old girl she found on the beach after the baby's parents allegedly left her alone for almost an hour. Police say the parents took a walk down the beach with 3 of their children, leaving their 6-month-old daughter all alone in a tent. A woman who was sunbathing nearby says she saw the baby all alone. She notified hotel staff and called 911. By the time deputies arrived, hotel personnel said the baby had been left unattended during nap time from 11:10 a.m. to 12:06 p.m., 56 minutes.
This wasn't just a mistaken mom has baby, no dad has baby, or we thought somebody else had baby. It essentially was the parents walked off with other children and left the baby without any care for that about an hour time frame.
Okay, now, wow, everybody's freaking out about that. See, I come at it from a different thing. I have no problem with it. The baby's inside of a tent, wrapped up in a Snuggie with a sleeping bag. And they were hanging out with their other kids who kind of ran away. By the way, they're other kids who have made it past their 6-month-old. So they're fine. And a lot of people just listening to some of these people are hilarious.
According to the police report, the dad told cops that the other 3 children had run off down the beach. So he and his wife went after them to go for a walk, leaving their sleeping infant in the tent unattended. He said they lost track of time and did not realize how long they had been gone.
What they reported to us is that because it was nap time, they didn't want to disturb their child. A 6-month-old cannot provide for herself, can't care for herself. Worst case scenario, baby could roll over and potentially suffocate.
Now the parents, Brian and Sarah Wilkes from Houston, Texas, have been charged with child neglect. Sarah is a successful healthcare executive, and Brian is an engineer with Shell. Absolute madness, goes one online comment. We feel nervous about leaving our chairs and food unattended on the beach when we go for a walk, let alone a child, goes another.
Leaving a child, especially a 6-month-old, there on the beach by itself without any way to care for itself or any direct supervision is just completely unacceptable.
Unacceptable. By the way, you didn't ask the child to raise itself. It was sleeping in a tent. You know who else does stuff like this? The Europeans. Oh, yeah. Do you want to know? The first time I went to Scandinavia, I'd be walking. We're going into a store because I was living in Göring, which is in Denmark. And I would look and I'm like, wow, look at all these little, what they call them prams, but these carts. We call them baby carts or whatever. Oh, there's babies in them, but there's no parents around because they leave them outside. And you know when they leave them outside? They leave them outside all the time, including when it's 0.
In Scandinavia, we put our babies outside to sleep in the pram. We still do that in Denmark. So do
you really?
Yeah, we do.
Babies are taken out in the cold?
In the snow, in frosty rain, everything. My 2 boys have been sleeping out in winter, at least their first 3, 4, 5 years, because it's very good for them and they get a better immune system and get resilient to the cold, so they will have less colds. I have heard people coming from the U.S. saying Danes are crazy. They put their babies outside in prams and leave them there, and then they go inside and drink coffee on the cafes.
People will take their babies to work. They'll push them outside. They'll leave them there. They go inside, and what do? They work, they do stuff, they shop. They're in there for a couple hours. They're not worried. And this is, it's a nice day. No, this is in the snow. When the snow's coming in the rain, and during the winter, they will even leave their babies outdoors overnight. But, oh, my God, what if somebody steals the baby? Chances of your child being taken by a stranger. Your child has a better chance of becoming a billionaire or being attacked by a shark than that. I think it's 1 in 750,000 years.
Well, this happened at a beach, and the shark might have been coked up and was able to get on land to get the kid.
Somebody said, what if the shark was on meth? That's a totally different story. First of all, took the boat apart.
So how long did they say they left the baby there?
It was about 40 minutes to an hour.
40 minutes.
And their kids are running around on the beach, and somebody decided to stick their head in there, and now they're in trouble.
So were they, were the parents nearby?
Yeah, they're on the beach. They were. It was a tent. First of all, why are you in my tent? Secondly, the parents said their other kids ran away, and then they started to walk down the beach with them, and they were looking at shells and stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the parents were near enough where they could see the tent and get to the tent quickly, I don't think this was an issue. Unless the parents were so far away. I would have a problem if they were so far away they could not see the tent.
Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, how far away would you have to be? Because the beach is,
whenever I go on a walk on a beach, I mean, I walk far enough to where I can't, I walk long enough to where I can't see where our stuff is. But I don't think that's. I think that's
how far you walk, Ken. Okay,
but I think that's what's missing from this story is where were the parents in relation to the tent? If they could still see the tent, I don't know if I'd have a problem with what they did.
No, I don't know if they could, but it's.
But I definitely, this is just personal. I wouldn't leave my baby in a tent on the beach if I still couldn't see the tent. I'd want to be somewhere around.
Nothing bad happened, but we still need to press charges.
Yes. Now, I brought this up because I saw this. There is a lady. This is the insanity of the world we live in. There is a lady that is been charged now, and she's been found guilty in Pennsylvania. This is the craziness. She left her 1-year-old home alone. No, with her 13-year-old, and they charged her with child abuse.
Okay, yeah, that's...
And she's had to register now with the state as a child abuser.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is insane.
I mean, my parents were leaving me and my siblings alone. I think I was 10 years old.
Of course.
And I'm the oldest.
Yeah, you're babysitting. That's why they had you. So you could babysit and change the channel on the TV. How else was my dad?
And when you got old enough to mow the lawn.
Yeah, or get his smokes because he didn't want to get up. I had to go get his smokes.
By the way, Mac brought up a really good point that if the shark is on meth, it probably has no teeth and can't bite you.
Yeah, probably. That's after it took apart the boat and then didn't figure out how to get it back together. And by the way, if you think this is crazy, have you seen the show Old Enough on Netflix?
Mm-mm.
Oh, the show Old Enough is awesome.
Would you let your kids do this? Bye-bye. In this popular new Netflix show, you can see toddlers running errands all by themselves, not a parent in sight. It's called Old Enough, but many are saying it should be called Not Old Enough.
Yeah. Now, when I mean toddlers, 2-year-olds running into town, taking buses and subways, and going in and doing things where they're forced to go get groceries or they have a little bag and they carry it. Because it's about promoting independence, and it's about promoting the fact that they want them to get away from mom and dad, not to be everything. We couldn't even handle that here. If you saw a 3-year-old on the street, oh my God, the police are coming, CPS, you're going to jail forever. We don't allow kids to live a life anymore. We don't. Like Ken said, man, we all grew up. All of us here, we're Gen Xers. We grew up at a time when babysitting at 10?
Yeah.
I wasn't babysitting brothers and sisters. I was babysitting other kids.
Fortunately, I didn't have to do that.
No, I didn't either. But still, I mean, I had a babysitter. She was 12. She was 12. I was like 9.
I babysitted the neighbor's kids, and I got $1 an hour, and I thought I was rich.
Man, that's like movie stuff. What are you doing with that, crazy fool?
Take that down to the arcade there, Brother Bilal.
Right there, man. You about ready to play 4 games. You don't even know what could happen. Keep it going, baby. Stack those quarters. But this is insane. And somebody just said, Chad, you're really off base here. There's a lot of sick people out there. Look at the data. We have never been in a safer time in the history of mankind. There are some sick people out there, but it's nothing compared to what it was in the 70s. And we ran hog wild in the 70s. There really was a guy with a puppy and a van. Not anymore.
If your child, something bad happens to your child, obviously the odds become 100%.
Yes.
But that is the rare occasion. And, your heart would break for anybody that would lose their child under circumstances like that. But you can't function in life based on the minority fear.
Yeah. Exactly. Because what we're doing now is we've helicoptered to bulldozer parenting, and we've done this. And what have we done? We've raised veal calves who now live in a world of anxiety and terror. And so instead of creating a maybe one-off situation that might happen, and what happened? You had Adam. Remember that? It was that, what's his name?
Daniel
Adam
J.
Walsh.
Trevante.
Yeah, Daniel J. Trevante.
Played him in the made-for-TV movie.
You had all of these things that happened that became TV movies, and that was it everywhere. It was your kid's going to be snatched. And that's not true. It isn't. And now we've taken away their independence. And because of that, what do we have?
Now they have peanut allergies and want universal basic income.
Yeah. Well, they may have no choice on that one. But still, we got to do better, kids. And we got to stop putting parents in jail because they allow their kid to go across the street to play kickball by themselves. All right, coming up, White Woman Wednesday, we got more of our good friend and yours, Kylie. She went to Brown. For those of you not keeping score, Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
COVID vaccine cancer benefit? We'll tell you about it at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, God, if there's a benefit and Trump ended up coming up with the COVID vaccine, people now are going to go out and see if they could take the vaccine out of there and give them COVID. That's the way that's going to work.
Or they'll end up going, I need to get cancer to prove Trump wrong.
To prove Trump wrong. Absolutely. It's the best thing you can do right there, people. We got enough time. Do we have enough time for it? No, we don't. Oh, no. God,
got about 40 seconds.
40 seconds! That's it! Because we went so long talking, and many of you had a lot of stuff to say. Some of you are mad at me. Some of you think that government overreaches when it comes to parenting. I think 100% it does. I do. There's nothing wrong with a kid staying at home by themselves for a little while. There's nothing wrong with a kid that's little sleeping in a tent while you're on the beach playing around. But what? People steal kids every day. No, they don't. 90+% of people that have their kids taken, and then some, comes from who? People who know the kid. Parent. Oh. If you're going to see the show, shame, grab the podcast. Hour number 3, shithead. Chad Benson, Super Talk 99.7.